Cleveland. We are live. What is up? We're on the live stream lounge. It's Sunday night. Thanks for hanging out with us. Our special guest. Oh, geez. I'm never prepared on time. Oh, boy. Here we go. Hold on. Have you seen this yet?
I've never seen that.
And tonight on the live stream lounge, our special guest is CHIQUI Marrero. So we need to kind of get this right off the bat, because when I posted, so I've known CHIQUI Marrero for a long time, but he wasn't always CHIQUI Marrero. He was Jose Marrero, which was I'm just super white, and I didn't know I had permission to do the kind of Antonio Banderas like Marrero, which I love. But also, so you're a filmmaker. I've known you for a long time. I've always known you as Jose, but recently you're doing you're still kind of young and early in your career. You're rebranding yourself as your family has always called you CHIQUI.
Yes.
And it's spelled, I wrote this down just for those of you that are looking up his work. It's pronounced cheeky, like, cheeky, but it's CHIQUI. And they've called you've always been known as CHIQUI to those that are close to you. So you're rebranding yourself as CHIQUI Marrero, which I love. I think that's really, and I just said it again, Marrero, but it's Marrero. CHIQUI Marrero. I love it. So, so that's fantastic. Thank you for hanging out with us on the lounge.
On the lounge today. Me.
Absolutely. So CHIQUI helped out a lot with Aladdin 3477 and played mostly an Indian Guard. Was there anyone else that you played, or was it mostly just an Indian Guard?
No, it was just that, and all I remember was wearing white contact lenses, and I never wore contacts. So I was in the bathroom for like 30 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
Trying to figure out
That's right.
Put it in there.
Oh my gosh, crazy. So we're going to chat about that. We're going to chat about your films. But one of the great reasons that I wanted to have CHIQUI on is because he's got an upcoming project that he wants to do crowdfunding for. And so you reached out to me earlier in the week in this email. You're like, hey, I was really impressed what you did with Aladdin and the Kickstarter. I have some questions because I want to do a Kickstarter for my project. I wanted to pick your brain and everything. So I wanted to know, can we get a drink or whatever? And I was like, gosh, I would love to. I don't really have time to get a drink unless, why don't you come out, have a drink on the live stream lounge with me and Mike? We'll have some drinks. We'll talk about it, because a lot of the cool questions that you might have and a lot of the cool things we might talk about, you guys might be interested in hearing at home. Speaking of my buddy Mike, say hello.
Hello, peoples. Woo!
What is up? And Mike actually was just here on Friday. We had our first executive producer screening for Aladdin 3477. So Mike came out with his wife, and also Dave Santia came out with his buddy for his plus one. Dave Santia is a world-renowned speed painter. I'm not going to talk about him too much right now, but on April 30th, he is going to be our guest here in the lounge. I can't wait for that, but that's like 3 weeks from today. But anyway, it was awesome. It was a really good time, and it was cool. It was really neat. I can't wait. Mike, what did you think of the movie really quick? What did you think?
Oh, the movie was awesome. I was going to save it for my post later, but I can tell you, you will not be disappointed when you see this. And let me tell you, from the very get-go, it was awesome. Can't wait for everyone else to see it. Gotta bite my lip. So other than that, wow, just wow. Aladdin 3477.
Woohoo!
Wow.
Awesome. So, Mike, the funds will from my bank will as soon as they get into my PayPal, I think by Tuesday I'll be able to send you PayPal for that. Thank you.
Don't let me come over like was it from Peter Griffin's? Stewie. Don't let me Stewie. Give my money. Give my money.
All right.
Where's my money?
So we're gonna get the party started. Yeah. We are gonna make some candy bar drinks, and CHIQUI's never had one of my signature candy bar drinks, so we are gonna do that right now. We start with a little bit of ice. Ice, baby. So CHIQUI, while we're doing this, how did you get into art making movies, all of this creative stuff. Give us the story. Like, at what point were you? I was just a baby, like a little kid, and you were like, you saw comics. You're like, I want to do this, or video games. I want to do this. What was it? Like where did it begin?
My mom has been kind of the person to cultivate my creativity. I guess it just started when I was really young. I just loved video games, the PlayStation 1 era. I just loved the design of everything.
Oh, that's old school. PlayStation 1?
Well, I have an older brother.
Okay.
I was born in 97, so technically.
Okay.
But
wow.
Yeah.
I had my first New York Times bestseller book cover came out in 97. I'm so old.
Oh, don't worry about it. I just graduated last year, and to hear someone say they were born in 2005, that just sent shudders down my spine. Oh,
so
man.
Funny.
Yeah, but creative wise, I've always been a creative person. I loved drawing when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always had phases when it came to art. I used to draw, then I started dancing, getting into mixing music. Film has kind of been a thing that's lasted my whole life.
Now, when you started dancing, hold on, Chiqui.
Yeah.
You're not going to get off that easy
I'm
on
gonna
that.
say,
Like, is it like, are we talking sweet, like break dancing and
Yeah.
stuff? You really?
Yeah.
No way.
Oh,
Okay, all right, can you bust a bit? Can you like do the robot or something right now, or do the way? What
Like an
can you do?
R2D2, like
Anything? Like,
I
show
don't
us a
know.
cool
I haven't
minute.
done it in
Like,
years.
what's a
I
cool-
traded it off.
Can you do like just a cool spit, like a Michael Jackson thing or something?
I can
on the spot. Oh, there we are. Oh, there. it
Wow! Oh my God, that was really
is.
good.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I feel like
Wait, hold on. So wait, if I do a wave, can I pass it to you?
absolutely.
Oh, back to me, and then oh yeah.
Oh my God, that was
Oh, that's
amazing. I don't know if I've
awesome.
ever actually done that with
No.
someone before.
Yeah, awesome.
That was cool.
Learning that trick, I've done it with a lot of people. So
That is awesome. Is there any other kind of dancing, or is it mostly like that?
I spent a long time trying to learn how to windmill.
That's it, dude. That's
and
the thing.
Eventually, I figured it
Wait,
out.
no way.
Yeah. One day, I figured it out, but that was after I was done like doing performances because I used to do that as a teenager. And when I figured it out after all those years, like really, that was it. That's what did it. It's all about technique. It's really not about strength.
All right, you have to teach me how to do it, because when I used to take breakdancing lessons, and I could do everything. I could do the worm. I could do backspins and stuff. There was only two things I could never do. I couldn't do the head spin.
Oh no.
And I couldn't do. Some people call it the windmill. Some people call it the helicopter. It's the same thing. I've never been able to do it. I can like start, but then as soon as I kind of flip around, I just kind of flop and just kind of like face plant kind of. So
Yeah.
I
It's all
can't
in the
get it
momentum.
going, but it's the momentum, right?
Mhm. It's all in the momentum. You start out like that, you kick your leg in, you use that momentum to like bring your shoulders around,
Yeah.
tuck in to get back in
Alright.
that position. I mean, can't really do it right here. But
Well, yeah, and I don't have a giant piece of cardboard. It's not going to work on the carpet. But one of these days, I'm going to hold you to it. You're
you
gonna,
can do it.
dude.
Yeah,
You're gonna
so-
teach me how to do the windmill. It's my, it's one of my life, check it off the list kind of thing.
Yeah, you got it.
All right, so we've got the Costco coffee. We've got our Irish cream.
And you
Just
got-
a little bit for.
Yeah. Just a little bit.
Then we're going to do a splash of peanut butter schnapps. Peanut butter goes good with everything,
Go.
so it doesn't even matter what flavor you're going to put in.
I'm glad I didn't have any sugar today.
Go.
Oh,
Diabetes.
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 All right. Now you guys get to choose. Do you want mocha, cookie dough? And this is all sugar-free, by the way. So there might be some sugar in that, but mocha, cookie dough, peanut butter cup, butter toffee, glazed donut, or vanilla bean. I'm going with the butter toffee myself.
I'll go with cookie dough.
All right. Mike?
Did you say donut? I
Yeah.
don't think I've had donut yet.
Glazed
We'll
donut.
try glazed donut. Don't forget the glaze. I like a little extra glaze in my glazed donuts.
A little extra glaze on your donut. Hertz donut.
Donut.
All right. And then cookie dough. Good call. Do, re, mi, do, go, go, go. Do. All right.
I remember when I was your student, we went to Dave and Buster's after one of our shoots, and I was underage, and so you got me a fruit drink instead.
What?
Yeah, I remember.
After one of our
I
Aladdin
was 20.
shoots?
Yeah, I was almost 21, but like, can't do nothing about it. So I got a nice fruit drink.
Now that you're legal,
But I'm now legal. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Now that you're legal, it's like, yeah, drink whenever. You know, whereas before it's like, oh man, I wish I could drink. Oh, I wish, you know. Now you're legal, it's like, yeah, just a big deal. You're not official adult until you can have a drink, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Drinks. Don't drink and drive.
Well, I walked here, so.
Okay. Don't walk and drive either. Or don't drink and walk.
All
Some
right.
countries have open bottle.
Right here.
On the lounge, we can be nerdy. On the lounge, we can be geeky. Tonight, we are hanging out with my buddy CHIQUI. Woo!
All right. You do the intro.
That is incredible.
Melted
Yeah.
ice cream.
That's good. I think I like the donut's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I dig it. All right, let's get the party. Is up, everyone. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight in the lounge with special guest Jose Marrero. So real quick, I'm gonna I don't want to bring things down too much, but I definitely wanted to say some words about Angie Mayhew, who passed away over the weekend. Angie Mayhew is the wife of Peter Mayhew, who played Chewbacca in almost all of the Star Wars films. I've known Peter and Angie for well over 20 years. I would see them and say hi at every single Star Wars celebration, Comic-Con. They were always doing, you know, the convention circuit. There were multiple times I had dinner with them. There were times I had dinner with them where it was literally just me, maybe Tracy Surgeon or whoever my assistant was that was helping me out. Like it was the four of us having dinner. Peter owned almost every single piece of Chewbacca art I've ever, that I've ever done. And they had a Chewbacca room where they have all their, artwork from a lot of the artists and stuff like that. Anyway, so I've just, excuse me. I knew I would start coughing again out of nowhere. During the week, I don't cough at all. But then as soon as I start talking on the lounge, I start coughing. Anyway, Angie was just so sweet, so supportive. And obviously Peter, if there's anything that's kind of sweet about this, it's that they're together in the stars. So I just wanted to show, this photo alone right here, this is probably, 17 years ago or something like that, quite a bit ago. I've always been doing artwork for some of their charity things where they make the collector coins. With the funds they raise, they give to children's hospitals so that kids always have toys. They've helped out like burned victims, all kinds of stuff, but they also have a soft place in their heart for artists. So there have been times where artists maybe didn't have enough money, excuse me, to get into Comic-Con or to have an artist alley table, and they would just pay for it if they heard something like that. They were just so sweet. So most recently, you guys probably remember this. It was just a month ago that Angie made this video about the Peter Mayhew Foundation was contributing to the Aladdin 3477 Kickstarter at the executive producer level. They wanted his name to live on. So if you go to IMDb, you'll actually see Peter Mayhew's name as one of the executive producers for Aladdin 3477. And it's just so, it was just a month ago that she made this video, which is just, it's just so amazing. But it's rough. It's a rough weekend for sure. One of the things I wanted to share with you is a story. If I can get this cough out of the way. And some of you have heard this story before, but I actually have some new images to share with it. So back in the late 90s, I believe they were already, I think episode 1 had already come out, but there were expanded universe novels that were the future of Star Wars. And there was this book that came out called Vector Prime, and it was a really big deal because in this book, it was the death of Chewbacca, and Chewbacca dies in this novel. And it was gut-wrenching because for a number of reasons. For one, the prequels, I think at that point, I don't think we knew that we were going to see Chewbacca in Revenge of the Sith at that point, but we definitely didn't think we were going to be getting any sequel movies that we would ever see Chewbacca in a film in the future. So all we really had for the future of Star Wars was the novels. And when this novel came out where Chewbacca dies, I mean, that was it. It was like the death of Chewbacca. It was gut-wrenching. The only thing that was cool about it is the way that he dies in this book is very heroic. He dies saving everybody, basically. And so Star Wars Insider magazine, before the book even came out, they contacted me. They said, listen, no one knows this yet, but Chewbacca's going to die. This is how it happens. We're giving you excerpts of the book so you can read it. We want you to illustrate how it happens because it doesn't show it on the book cover or anything like that. So this is the illustration that I did showing Chewbacca in his final moments as this planet is being ripped apart and the Millennium Falcon is flying away because they were finally able to escape. But the only way they can do it is if they left right then without Chewbacca. And it's like, it's so gut-wrenching, right? Anyway, so what was crazy about this is I was supposed to offer this in my contract. I'm supposed to offer first right of refusal to George Lucas, and he usually bought everything that I did. Peter Mayhew really, really, really wanted this painting because even though he was so sad that like Chewbacca was over, this was like the most triumphant moment that really kind of symbolizes what Chewbacca is and that he would do anything. He had like this life, I forget what it's called, a life thing to Han Solo, a life debt, I guess, where he, has to protect him forever. So anyway, so they wanted this painting. And every time I saw them, they had a bunch of my Chewbacca artwork, but they always told me that their favorite piece in their collection was the Chewbacca painting that I did that was from Vector Prime. So also a month ago, Matthew Egon was kind enough to send me 2 photos. One is of Angie Mayhew holding the painting framed that I did, which is just so awesome. And the crazy thing was, I remember when I gave them this painting, I was at a show and I wanted to write something on the back and I didn't know what to say. And I can't remember what I said at this very instant, but I wrote something, to Peter and Angie on the back. Now, normally when you frame a piece of artwork, there's foam core behind it to kind of keep it nice and secure, like up against the frame and everything. So here's what I didn't know until a month ago. So this is Angie sharing the photo of their the favorite painting. What I didn't know is this is the back of it. So this is it framed. They actually purposely had a square cut out of the back so that when you take it off the wall, you can actually read what I wrote. And this was, gosh, this might have been, I mean, this might have been over 20 years ago, but to Peter and Angelique, which is their first, full name, thanks for the inspiration and dreams of courage that are Chewbacca. Best wishes, Matt Bush. But I just thought that was so sweet that it meant enough to them when they had it professionally framed to have it cut out so that when they want to take it off the wall, they can kind of read that. Like that just, wow, that is just so amazing. So anyway, Angie, rest in peace. You are amazing. You were always, everyone knows, anyone who's in the Star Wars community, artists, fans, they were always so approachable and so wonderful. So I'm sure you all know how special they were, and they were just always a highlight at these shows. Super cool. I think it's time to raise our glass and Wookiee hugs through the galaxy. So I wanted to chat about a couple other things from the past week. There is a podcast that came out earlier in the week. It's called Awaken Nation with Brad Zolos. It is a really great interview. Now, I don't just say that like, hey, if you want to hear me talk more, you have to see this video. It's awesome. It's me talking. You get to hear me talk about more Aladdin and Star Wars again. But seriously, it's a really cool video. And Brad Zolos is such an interesting character. Here's one of the crazy connections and why he reached out to me. He has all kinds of, big name like writers and all kinds of amazing people on his podcast. But he got wind. He also was born in Lebanon, Pennsylvania, which is where I was born. I didn't really grow up there when I was just a real little kid. And I think I was probably 2 years old. 2 or 3 years old when we relocated back here, first to Warren, Michigan, and then Sterling Heights is kind of where I grew up. But anyway, so that was kind of our connection, is that we're both from Lebanon, Pennsylvania. But he's an interesting cat that has this really cool career. I didn't know, though, until we were doing the podcast, the thing that I geeked out over is he did 8 of the voices on the Legend of Zelda cartoon. I thought that was so cool. I had no idea. But anyway, it's a really cool interview. Very insightful cat that just has had a unique, really gets into the philosophy about Star Wars and stuff like that. But it's a really cool interview. You can find that on anywhere that they have podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all that stuff. It's also on YouTube, and on YouTube you can actually see it. And it was we recorded it over Zoom, so be on the lookout for that. You can find on my my Facebook and Instagram and probably Twitter. I've got links to it everywhere.
And what was his channel name again?
It's Awakened Nation with Brad Zolos.
Good interview. I saw that interview. It's very thorough.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, I was impressed. Yeah, very good. Very cool.
Yeah, he was cool. He's a cool cat for sure. So the thank you videos, I've been trying to get these on every day. I think I only got another 2 on this week, but check those out again on the Aladdin 3477 YouTube page. The 3rd playlist down, you will see all of those. We have more to do still, but I've got more waiting in the ring to just kind of get uploaded for you guys to check out. Excuse me. By the way, I've had a couple people reach out to me and say, hey, I want to do the draw this in your style, either the Aladdin one or the Fiji one. I know the contest is over, but can I still do that? Absolutely, you can still do that. Of course you can. So always would love to see your draw this in your style. Really for anything Aladdin or Fiji. Would love to see that for sure. There's the hashtags, of course. It's hashtag Aladdin 3477 DTIYS or just Fiji DTIYS. The contest is over, but yeah, absolutely. And go there and check out, if you go to Instagram and type in those hashtags, you can see all of the other cool art that peeps have done. Last week, I dropped a video on YouTube that is you can draw Star Wars Lego sketch card puzzles, and kind of showing how I did 3 sketch card puzzles. One, I think, was 20 or 25 sketch cards taped together on the back to make one image. Then another one was 36, and then I think another one was 49, the sketch card puzzle to end all sketch card puzzles. So check that out if you haven't seen it. This week, I'm starting a new mini series on YouTube. Oh man, melted ice cream in a glass. This new series is painting movie poster style portraits. So what this is, it's a 6-video series. The first one is going to drop on Tuesday. This kind of shows my painting process, very similar to Drew Struzan and a lot of the other illustrated poster artists, showing, excuse me, step by step how I draw and paint these to kind of give that larger than life look. I actually, in this video series, I illustrate 2 paintings at once, a male and a female. So I'm illustrating Aladdin and Princess Kamala. You can kind of see here in the thumbnail, this is the underdrawing for Princess Kamala. And it starts with that, how to draw it out, what things you're kind of looking for when you're doing that underdrawing so that you can start painting on top. It's a 6-video series. A new one's going to drop each week. And the first one begins on Tuesday. All right. So we are hanging out with CHIQUI. And so CHIQUI, so I want to talk a little bit about your filmmaking. And actually, I wanted to go through, let's go through this first one here real quick. So this is from, what is the name of this film again?
That is my 2019 short film, Psych.
Awesome.
Awesome.
So
Awesome
now
film.
you're an award-winning filmmaker. You're also an award-winning actor, right?
Almost.
Almost.
Yeah.
I thought you didn't win. Didn't you win a best actor for something? Maybe you were nominated
last year. Yeah, I was nominated
Okay.
last year in Horror Film Roulette.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I spoke to one of the judges, and I was this close.
Mm.
I was this close to getting it.
Yeah,
but that's fine because I'm usually behind the camera, not in front of it. So
Yeah.
I was always critical of myself on set, but to hear that I was nominated, oh yeah, that's good.
So this was from the Horror Film Roulette, and Horror
Yeah.
Film Roulette, by the way, was founded or co-founded by Eric Steele, who plays Aladdin. So it's this really cool. It's this really cool filmmaking community that we have that's in the local Detroit area, where we have this really special thing in October, or in the months leading up to October, with the Horror Film Roulette, where it's open worldwide, and we get some, I say we as if I'm part of it, but I'm a sponsor every year. And there are people that submit from all over the world, but it's primarily people here in Detroit. And it's such a great thing because so many people have kind of met and become friends, and they help out on each other's projects. And I know you're doing a lot with Josh Tauby now. Yeah. And it's such a cool group of people, and everyone is so, it's just good peeps, it's awesome. And it's funny for things like this, the Horror Film Roulette, sometimes you see some of the images and it's like, oh my gosh, who could conjure horrible things like this? But as you know, it's just for good fun. We're all really, really nice people, and we're goofy. We like to make nerdy things and sci-fi, and we like to make horror. When it's Halloween, we like to watch scary movies. We like to make scary movies. So so tell me about this one.
Yeah. So when I first started Horror Film Roulette, if you don't know, you go to the submissions, or not submissions, you go to the kickoff event and you spin a roulette wheel, and it has 6 genres of horror films. And when I first started my filmmaking career, I wanted the easiest genre I could possibly get, which was slasher. But eventually I was like, okay, I want to push myself. I want to try the hardest genre, sci-fi, which was the following year. That year, I spun the wheel, and the thing I wanted the least was zombie. It's like, I don't care which one I get. I just don't want zombie. I don't have the budget for it or the time. And I spun it, and it landed on zombie. And I was so upset. I went to the bar across the street right after the kickoff event, and I was just drinking a beer, and I was so upset about this. I was like, all right, well, what am I going to do? And I started connecting the dots and then grinding it out and thinking about it. And 1 hour after I got the genre, I thought of the entire story of Psych. And within the next day, I wrote the script. And then the following weekend, we filmed it and edited it. And that was that. I submitted it and we won first place.
That's awesome.
And it was all because I decided not to want zombie and then try to make it work. Because I didn't want to make something that everyone else made. I wanted to do a twist to it, which I'm not going to reveal.
Yeah, you have to check it out.
The film, but I wanted to add some kind of element to it that made it more than just a zombie film, you know, which it is.
Yeah,
it's really good. I gotta say, it's one of my favorites here. So definitely check it out. It's good. It's good.
Yeah, I was definitely proud of making that one because up until that point, and that's the frame right there. That frame right there. Oh, so good, so crisp. And that was played by the beautiful Alexis Vince, amazing actor. She deserves so much more than the scripts have to offer, you know. So I'm gonna make sure she's in good stuff. But the creation of Psych, up until that point, I didn't have a lot of resources as a filmmaker. I was very new. I only had 2 films under my sleeve up until that point, and both of them were shot in my house with the bare minimum resources. Psych was the first time where I had a director of photography, I had actors, I had a PA, I had catering, I had all these, you know, bells and whistles to make a production, and it shows. The jumping point from the last film I made before this and this one, you could see the quality, and I was very proud of that work. And to win first place, oh man.
So, great. And when you started, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't you kind of get started didn't you do a film with like Alex Stryker and a bunch of those cats where you guys were like, it was the campfire and it was all, were you part of that?
Funny you should say that. No, I wasn't part of that. The year prior to that film, or not that film, the film I made, Alex Stryker made a film called Slasher Summit.
Okay.
And I didn't know that was the film that won because I went to the kickoff event for that extra credit assignment for Horror from Roulette, and I got Slasher, and I decided to do a premise where a bunch of slashers are huddled around a campfire telling stories on the people that they've killed, but it's told in like a lighthearted, like comedic way.
Yeah.
And then after the fact, I saw Slasher Summit. I was like, oh no, the winner of last year did something similar to this, where they had a bunch of slashers like Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees, you know, just talking crap about each other. So that was like a humbling moment for me, where I was like, you know what, I'm going to do my homework, make sure I do my own, you know, creative stuff.
Yeah,
it's weird. I just got to say, it's weird that some of those films, like if you watch the next films and how they set up, they're similar, and like some of my films were similar to like another film. So it's interesting to see we have same ideas.
And you know, part of it, there's nothing new under the sun. So I mean, it would almost anything you can, well, and not just almost anything that you can think of has content or style or something that you've seen before or experienced before. And especially when you've got something as narrow as Horror Film Roulette, even though there's all these different kinds, and then you could split those up and there's different genres in between those as well. But it's hard to do something new, you know, and that's half the fun, is trying to shake it up and make something new out of it. I want to talk real quick about what is going on at the moment with Aladdin 3477 and the Kickstarter. So a lot of you are probably getting excited for your rewards that are coming soon on the way. So again, the way the reward film fulfillment works, spring, summer, fall, and winter, you guys are getting your rewards packages depending on what you backed for the Kickstarter. So spring, estimated delivery April. Well, I can tell you that they are going to go out in the spring. I don't know if you guys are going to be receiving your packages in April, but hopefully they will be. Hopefully it'll be May, very soon after. So there's a couple assets that I'm still designing. I'm putting the finishing touches on the official collector's edition book. I just put in the order for the enamel pins, which I'm going to talk about soon. I've got to put the orders in for the shirts. But part of what I'm waiting for is I'm actually waiting for some of you guys, because I have about 2/3 of the Kickstarter backers that have responded to the backer kit, that have responded to that. So I need to get in. You guys basically have to let me know what shirt size you want, which one you're choosing. I need to know. I need to know which enamel pin that you want. So until I have all of that information, I can't do final orders on things anyway. So to some degree, I'm waiting for y'all. This right here is kind of a tentative list of what's happening. So the surveys went out. We're preparing everything for production right now. At the end of the month is when credit cards are going to be charged. I may change this date. I may give a little more time on that. I'm not sure if I should wait or if I should do it then. It may depend on where we're at and if it'll make more sense to like give you guys another week. Perhaps if you guys are going to order more. I have more things I'm going to be sharing with you guys and showing you what things look like. So maybe you guys might be ordering some more things, or maybe having a quicker deadline will make you guys jump on it a little quicker. Not sure yet what how that should roll or what we should do with that. But you can go to the backer kit store. If you go to the Kickstarter, there is a link right at the Kickstarter that you can click on. That'll take you right to the backer kit pre-sale store. So even if you haven't backed the Kickstarter, you can go there right now. You can order shirts. You can order books. You can order the enamel pins. You can order the toys, and you will get them just like everyone else. The Kickstarter backers get them first. Obviously, those get shipped out first. But and if you are a Kickstarter backer, you can get more items. But the pre-sale store is open for business. So I also did a little more research on the pre-sale store through BackerKit. Last week I was kind of a little miffed about it a little bit. We were hanging out talking with Tom. Since then, I've been in communication with BackerKit, and it's not as bad as I thought. The pre-sale store I will be able to keep open indefinitely. So that is a win. That's a huge win. And then it sounds like I might be able to, after this first round of the spring orders that go out, it sounds like I might be able to redo for Kickstarter backers for them to go in. See, my worry was that after their credit cards get charged, if Kickstarter backers ever want to get more items, are they going to have to pay for even more shipping on top of the shipping they've already paid for from the Kickstarter? I don't want you guys to pay more than you have to. So it sounds like we'll be able to resolve that. It didn't really make sense to me when they talked to me about it. So I will get to that bridge when we get to that bridge. But it sounds like it's not going to be as horrible as I thought it would be. First of all, none of it was ever going to be horrible for you guys. I mean, for me, under the hood, figuring all of this out, and this is me typing in, like literally my hands are like this when I type. It's madness. So I'm in contact with the company that is producing the enamel pins. It's the same company that does the Punch It Chewy press pins, which are awesome. So they are underway, and I can't wait to see these pins. Right now, we're kind of trying to figure out how we're going to make this Lochan Shyamalan glow in the dark pin awesome. There's a couple different things we can do with textures, and we're trying to figure out the best way to do it. They might be sending me some samples, like they can do it this way or do it this way. That way I can see which one I like best and move forward with that. So that's kind of where we're at right now, and that's going to happen real soon. I may have some samples to show you guys. ASAP. This was my face last week. This is how I felt about the backer kit when I didn't think I was going to be able to use it after April. Now it sounds like we can use it indefinitely, so much better. So this film is called Guess What?
Yes.
Tell us about this.
So this is This is the second film I've directed, working with Blue View Cinema, Josh Tobby and the team. And we were developing an episode for Comedy with Errors. And we were brainstorming some ideas. And so I shot an idea, and it was the whole guess what thing. You know, whenever someone says guess what, and you're like, all right, what is it? And they say, no, you have to guess. And you're like, okay, it's a shot in the dark. I'm not going to literally guess what you want me to know. But what I wrote was, or the idea I had was, what if the thing that this person was guessing was like came to be true, and it just kept escalating into outrageous proportions. And so we turned that into a script, and it turned out to be guess what, and that's Josh Tobby right there acting, and he did phenomenal. The makeup,
Shout out to Josh.
What up, Josh?
And shout out to Sammy Rachel for the makeup, because we had a completely different look for him right before shooting this. And then we saw the wig, and we're like, we're changing it. We'll change it right now. Yeah. And he turned out great.
I even noticed I'm glad you included this, the teeth. So that's stuff that you swish in your mouth, and it makes like your teeth all gross and stuff.
Honestly,
right?
I have no idea how she pulled that off. I was there on set, and one day or 1 hour he had clean white teeth. The next he had that. They had to keep applying it though, because eventually it will like fade away. But yeah, it looked really effective. There's one extreme close-up of his teeth while he's laughing maniacally, and it's gross, and I love it.
Yeah.
Well, Josh usually has a purty mouth.
We used stuff like that for a character named Vex Skanda, who's in the second Aladdin 3477 film, and but we had to keep applying this, and he had to swish it in his mouth, and spit it out. But yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I love everything that Blue View does. Those guys are so cool, so fun.
Yeah, they're an incredibly talented team.
And Josh was one of my students, and Josh and Mark Fritz actually supported the Kickstarter, and they're going to be doing the red carpet experience coming up in a month or so. I can't wait for that. Yeah, this was really great, really, really funny. I don't want to spoil anything on this. You'll have to go and check this out online. It's really, really funny. And
where can they check it out at?
Blue View Cinema on YouTube. You can check their Facebook page as well, and you'll find Guess What on the Blue View Cinema YouTube page.
And then this is cool because you're the director, but then this is your cameo.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, so we didn't really know what was going to happen in the end, but one of the final punchlines that we had, spoiler alert, I suppose, if you're not gonna watch it between this, but I wanted at the ending of the film where all the outrageous stuff happens, where someone just like walks by, and at first in the first draft we had like a janitor. But as we were setting up the camera in the space of the set, we're just looking around. We're like, nah, janitor wouldn't really like mesh well with the plot. I mean, you could like get a trash can behind there somewhere. And I was dressed up in like a suit and tie and like business casual. And I thought, you know what? There's a perfect cubicle space right there. Why don't I just hide behind there and you shoot me just like backing my chair and watching them do crazy stuff as I walk away. And I thought that was a perfect closing. And we did a test shot on it. Yeah. It worked out perfectly.
Oh my gosh.
And that ended up in the final cut.
That's awesome. So cool. I just realized, I don't know what I was thinking, but whoops, I want to keep that on. We have comments. What's wrong with me? Why wouldn't I go to the comments? Hello, what is going on? Oh my gosh. Dave Todd says, evening, kids. Clark Iverson. Hey, Matt, good to see you. Oh, thanks for hanging out, Clark. And let's see, Justin, evening, everyone. Justin, what's up? I can't wait to have you out for the red carpet event screening. Cannot wait to show you the film. And Dave Todd says, Daw reveals all.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I need to switch this too.
Yeah.
That's great. Clark Iverson says, for the drink, I recommend the Diddlebach. made famous in Harold Lloyd's 1947 movie, The Sin of Harold Diddlebach. I feel like I should know that, and I don't.
Is there a recipe?
But I'm going to look that up, because if Clark mentions it, I'm sure it's going to be something. All right, I got to check this out. The Sin of Harold Diddlebach. All right, I'm going to check it out.
Not cheeky.
I'm going to be cheeky when I watch The Sin of Harold Diddlebach. All right, Brittany.
Hey,
I remember seeing Psych at Horror Film Roulette. That one was
you.
awesome.
I promise I'm making another film. I know it's been a few years, but I'm doing it.
Awesome.
Psych 2 Electric Boogaloo.
There you go. Love you, Matt. Hey, what's up, David? David also is a filmmaker. And Mama Rick says, hi, guys.
What's up?
All right, so.
Oh, you got to. Oh, no, never mind. I misread that.
Oh, yeah. So the next thing I wanted to chat about real quick, I wanted to talk about the official collector's edition. I am nearing the end of designing this book, 100 pages, and it is awesome. I have to tell you, the thing I'm excited about most is the film, of course, obviously, well, the films, but you know, the first film is coming out. The thing I'm excited about second is this book. This book is just, when I was a kid, I just really loved official collector's edition books, and this is my dream. I just really love. I thought about this the whole time. The whole time I was making the movie, I was like, man, it'd be cool if there was a book. And what if there's a section where there's the bounty hunters here, and then there's this XR viewer that Aladdin uses. So I'm going to have this little thing here that shows that. And so I've really put my all into choosing the coolest photos and writing interesting text that I think you guys will be into. And then I have just been geeking out in layout. I don't really consider myself a layout designer per se, but I just like anything creative. I just love putting my all into it. And so I have painstakingly been working on all of these pages and just really taking the time to kind of lay things out in a way where when you kind of turn things from page to page, it's going to be a page turner, and lots of cool information. So a lot of these I've already shared with you guys. Excuse me, some of these pages, but I wanted to share some new ones just to have some new content to look at. And of course, there's also behind the scenes section. So there's going to be a lot of really cool under the hood, seeing how we made a lot of this. But so here are some pages here. I didn't have time to put them together as double page spreads, but I wanted to show you guys 4 new pages. This is a section here from part of the New Kowloon, Hong Kong. So this entire set was filmed in my backyard. We built all of the alleyways and stuff that Aladdin runs through. It was all in my backyard. We tore it apart and just had a lot of fun with that. But again, just these layouts. That's actually James is one of the extras hanging out, selling wares. But this shows a lot of the different ships that you'll see like flying in the sky. There's the Hong Kong police troopers. Let's see what else. Then this section is kind of on Aladdin's apartment in New Kowloon. So this is a more like rundown area of Hong Kong. And it kind of shows his makeshift apartment. He lives in like an abandoned building that he's kind of converted into his own like apartment man cave. And this shows here how he uses a vintage holo projector and why he uses. There's a reason why it's a vintage holo projector as opposed to like a new one. So it kind of gives you a lot of deets. And the thing that I really like about this book, I've designed this book in a way where I don't want it to spoil the movie, because a lot of you are you're going to get this book this spring. you may not see this movie until later in the year. So you'll be getting this book months before. So I knew right off the bat, I don't want to create anything that's going to spoil the movie, only that's going to enhance, excuse me, what you know about this world, so that it'll make the seeing this movie even better. On the other hand, I wanted to make it so that even if you have, for some, there might be some people, maybe they'll see the movie first and maybe they won't pick up this book until a year from now. But I wanted it to be also cool. If you have seen the movie, it's still cool enough content that that you can enjoy it and go through. And even though it doesn't really spoil anything for the movie, you can really dive deep into the world and kind of get into a lot of that. So I can't wait for you guys to see this book. I am just having a riot putting it together, and it's good stuff. Super cool. So yeah. So, well, is this? Oh, this mixed up my slides here. I wanted to. So, Cheeky.
Yes.
I wanted to chat. Do you need a refill or do you need water?
Oh, yeah. I'll take some water.
How you doing, Mike?
I'm good.
You good? Water or anything?
Actually, let me grab the water. Oh, yeah, water.
Always have water between drinks.
There you go. All right, I guess I'll do the same. You want me to get that for you?
Please.
So you hit me up earlier in the week and you had some questions. You got a new project, which I think I've heard about before. You've been thinking about this for a long time.
Oh yeah.
And you said you're getting ready to do a Kickstarter, but you've never done a Kickstarter.
Nope.
And so you wanted to pick my brain. I have some juice, like even off the top of my head, but tell me what you're thinking. Walk me through what where you're at, what you intend to do, and what you're thinking, why you want to do a Kickstarter in the first place.
Well, for Psych and for Guess What, I've been lucky enough, I've been privileged enough to find a team that is willing to allocate resources in such a way that production costs are fairly low. But with each project I work on, I'm looking to increase the budget. With Psych, it was fairly low budget. We did it on minimum resources and minimum time. Guess what? It was a fairly higher budget. We had a more expensive camera. We had more people on set. With this particular film, the effects that I have in mind, coupled with just the set design and just the idea itself, I know that I'll need more money than previous projects before. There's a lot of practical effects that I'm trying to get together. Something really effective that when people watch it, they're like, "Oh, yeah, I see where the money went to," But I've never made a Kickstarter before because I've had those places to pull funds from previously. This time around, I'm still going to push forward with the team that I have and the resources I do have, but I'm looking for a little, extra bump to push it over the edge.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to pick your brain because your Kickstarter was very successful.
Yeah.
Or just slightly more successful than the goal. And I saw that, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to give it a shot. If I have the chance to garner enough traction on this project that I can get some funding for, then I will be able to basically pay my cast and crew and everyone in between a decent chunk with that money.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I just don't know what to do though.
Well, so there's a couple things that there's a lot of juice that I can give that I can share. The biggest of which I remember when I did my first kick. I've done 3 now, and all have been successful. But I remember when I was doing my research for Hollywood is Dead, which is the zombie movie poster book. I did a lot of research, and one of the things that I read more than once from people that do a lot of Kickstarters is they say no matter how much you prepare, no matter how much you do to get your Kickstarter ready, you won't do enough. From the very first day, you'll be like, oh, why didn't I make the banners that, you know, now I got to make these. And then like, then you'll become successful. Now you got to do stretch goals. Why didn't I figure out what my stretch goals were ahead of time? Now I got to figure that out. And because you're promoting for however long your Kickstarter is. It's usually like 1 to 2 months. For those 1 to 2 months, you have to work it. You are every day reaching out to everyone, answering questions, making videos, doing everything in your power to sell it and to work it and to make it exciting. So that's absolutely true. So when I did my first Kickstarter, I was like, you know what? Everyone's saying that, you know, you're never prepared. I'm going to be the person who's prepared, because I usually, you know, my whole life has been about storyboarding and pre-production and kind of preparing for things and being the most prepared person. I kind of pride myself on that. And from what I'm told, people that have like worked on Aladdin and stuff, usually comparatively to other films they've worked on, they're usually surprised how organized I am on the day that they get to set, where they say, yeah, usually directors from scene to scene, they're kind of like, so I guess for the next one, maybe we'll have you guys stand over there, and then maybe, how does that look? No, maybe we'll try the other. I mean, I'm not like that at all. Everything is storyboarded. It's like, go, 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 go. All right, let's do this. Because there's a rhythm, and I don't want to lose people, because you start to lose people after a while and they get tired. And especially actors, if they start losing steam, you know, when you say action, and, you know, as the day goes on, it's like their performance is getting lost. So I'm always trying to keep it going, and also trying to be efficient, because time is money, right? And it's like, if you can film something, if it takes 8 days to film something, you're paying for food for all those days. What if you could film all 8 days? What if you could get that down to 5? You're saving a lot of money, you know, or you can take the money you're saving and put more into costumes, or you know what I'm saying? So so I always try to be the most prepared person. Anyway, so I thought for sure for that Kickstarter, I would be the person. I'm going to be totally prepared. That's not going to be me. And sure enough, from the very first day, I was like, oh my God, I am not prepared at all. And then the same was true for the next one that I did. I did kind of a trial one last year to get me ready for Aladdin. I've been preparing for the Aladdin Kickstarter, honestly, for about 2 years. Not that you have to spend that long to get a Kickstarter together, but I really wanted this to be, you know, having worked on these films for about 13 years, and because this is my magnum opus, I really wanted this to be special. This is my big thing, you know. I will never do something that, I'm not saying I'll never make a movie again, and I'm not saying I won't make other cool stuff. Maybe I'll make stuff even cooler, but I will never make another big, like 13-year like crazy thing. Like this is the thing, you know. So and sure enough, I wasn't, as much as I did for that, I was in fact, a month before the Kickstarter, I almost paused it and said, you know what, I'm going to wait another year, because another year from now, I will be even, if you can imagine that, because I did a lot during, I mean, you saw the Kickstarter, right? Yeah. But I was like, if I had another year, I will be even more prepared. I will have even more to show. But I'm at the point now where, like, I've been working on this for so long, everyone's just like, I'm at the point now where, would it be better in a year? Yes. Would people notice how much better it is? Probably not. You know, I might have had another couple contests. I might have had another couple videos, but it was already, there was so much going on that it was probably good that I released it when I did. So that's the first biggest nugget of anything. You can never be too prepared. The more you put in, the more you will get out. And there's a lot of people that they'll slap a Kickstarter together and then they'll hit run and then see what happens. And they just, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
I got a question.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
him.
absolutely, Mike.
So is there one or two things that you can share that maybe something sticks out more than others? As far as being prepared, is there something that you wish should have, and I know hindsight is 2020, but was there something that afterwards there's maybe more you would have focused on versus the way it rolled out that way, or is it just kind of just get it out the door?
Well, looking back at my filmmaking career, I've definitely made a lot of mistakes on the way, particularly with my first film, as I previously mentioned, with like establishing ideas that are very unique in of itself. But one thing that it's funny that you mentioned, well, working on your set at Aladdin, I remember how you used your storyboards as a shot list to get from shot to shot, and that right there was the thing that I grabbed onto set and used on my own. And the difference between filming that slasher film versus filming Psych. For Psych, I planned it shot for shot. We only had about 8-9 hours to shoot, so I wanted to make sure we were on point with that. And so I drew out every single frame that I had in my head, and I wrote down how long each shot would take because it was a 5-minute long short film competition. And if you were to look at them side by side, they're almost one for one, even down to the time. So one thing that helped me with efficiency and making sure that you're on point for me was storyboarding. And you don't even have to be a good drawer for that. You just need to get the idea in your head somewhere on paper to be able to film effectively. I will say, though, worked with your director of photography. You guys' brains are different. So what works for you on a storyboard might be different for your director of photography. Just make sure you guys are communicating and getting the shot you need.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's good juice. And it was a really good experience I had with Alex Jacobson. Ghost is what, his nickname, where he was really good about matching what I had in my head. And there were times he came up with ideas for things he thought would be cool. And most of the time I was able to say, you know what, let's try it. And I still want to do, what's in my head. Let's try it and we'll see if it works. There were a couple times maybe that if we were pressed for time, I might have been, I really had to soul search. Would that be better with what I envision? And there might have been a couple times where I was like, we just don't have time to, I love that idea, but let's kind of stay on the path. But every time that we had time, more often than not, I would say, you know what, let's film it. Let's try it. And what was funny is almost every time I was thinking in my head, well, we'll film it, but like, I'm probably not gonna. I mean, I'll try it. I'm open mind. I'll put it in the editing and I'll see if it works. But in my head, a lot of the times I was like, I probably won't use it. But the funny thing was, I usually did. It usually was really, really good. And that's the thing, is having an open mind, not having an ego. And for me, it never was ego. Like, it has to be my idea. I just had such a crystal clear vision of what I wanted. But then sometimes it's not until you're in the editing room where you're not on stage, you don't have all these surrounding distractions, what you're trying to do, and you're literally just looking at the finished shots in order next to each other. And it's like, man, that is really good. That does work. That does work well.
It truly is a collaborative art. I mean, you could be the writer, you could be the director and editor, but you're still working with so many different moving parts in your machine. And you got to get your inputs from other sources. And I've recognized, and even though I have my storyboards, sometimes there's just a shot that I'm not sure about. Like, I have it in my head, but it's ultimately up to how my director of photography feels, or my assistant director, and I'll get their input on things, because they, apes together strong. What you see might not be what other people would want to see. So it's good to have a different brain look at it in a different way. So, and that's the thing I love about filmmaking. If you're a painter, all you really have to rely on is yourself. If you're a musician, I mean, you can rely on other people too. I'm not a musician, but there's a lot of different art forms that you can just rely on yourself to put out incredible products. But filmmaking is one of those ones where you're, from top down, are just working with so many different people that you need to hear their input and you need to hear what they have to say. You don't have to accept it, in the end of the day, as a director, you are the director, and it's your vision that needs to be executed. But you should be open-minded to listening to what other people have to say.
Yeah. So Kickstarter.
Yeah.
So the big thing with Kickstarter that I think some people are that don't know about. Have you ever supported a Kickstarter before?
I haven't
Okay.
even done that.
So Kickstarter is not a charity. It's not a thing where people are just giving you money.
Mhm.
You have rewards
Yeah.
that you call them rewards. Reward sounds like you're just getting like, here's a little, you know, a pin that's got like the ribbon on it or something like that. But a reward can be anything. It could be a digital asset, or it could be something that you're mailing people. And so the idea is and you have to do it in a way where people are getting stuff for what they're paying for. Hopefully you're making a profit off of these rewards or these items so that you can make your film or make your product. And sometimes the reward is your product. So sometimes people have an invention, people support the Kickstarter, and then they get the invention, whatever this cute little thing is that, I don't know what it does. It opens wine bottles in a weird way or something. But they can't produce it until they get the money. Well, that's what people get for, you know, for backing it. So something like a film, or especially a short film, or like a short animation or something like that, that's kind of, it's not tough. It's actually brilliant and it's amazing, but it's not as easy as, hey, send us money and then you'll get a link to watch the film. Because it's just like, well, dude, you can watch short films for free on you. Why would they? What is so special about your movie? And maybe there is something special, but is that enough? How are you going to get people? And you might get people to like, oh, here's $5, here's $10, but that's not going to help you a lot. How are you going to get people to give you $50, $100, maybe even more than that? So you have to come up with unique things that's going to make people want to get involved. Unique things
like that.
Like that. Now that is huge, and that is something manufactured. Have you seen these cute little?
No, I haven't. Oh, there has some weight to it.
Isn't
I
that
like
nice?
it. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Nice.
pretty nice. Normally the 3-inch like designer toys, like Phil, that one, that's a 3-inch one as well. And that's Kid
lighter.
Robot. But yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
But Fidgy's so cute. So so you have to come up with rewards. So now you might not be able to manufacture toy for your, you know, for your film. Aladdin is something that's a lot more like longevity. There's 3 films, they're feature length. So this is part of a much larger thing that's taken a much longer time to do. But I've seen some cool things that filmmakers have done. They've done things like, you know, there's certain things, it just depends on what kind of film it is. There's certain things that might not do a whole lot, where like, if you give us $20, you'll get like a copy of the script. But it's just like, you can download scripts for free online. How many, like, who's like, it's hard to get people to even read, like, it's hard to even pay people to read your script. Like if someone writes it, will you read my script? Will you read my, no one really wants, you know what I'm saying? So it's got to be something fun and exciting. One thing that sometimes people will do is, if you pay a certain amount, you can have a walk-on role. So maybe there's something that's, is there a part where, because they might not be able to act very well, but is there something where you just need people to walk by and pretend like they're astonished at something and they keep walking, that you know for sure people will be in the film, that if they if they give like $100, they get to be in the film. And then there's things like, if they pay a little bit more, they can be, maybe they can be an executive producer and it says their name at the end or something like that. Some people would be into that, but that's the thing too, is some people won't care. Some people are like, I don't know about that.
How much money they have.
How much, and it's how much money they have too. So there's a really great thing that I actually borrowed. borrowed from Josh Tobby, and that is for his Kickstarters. I thought it was brilliant that he did the thank you videos and that he did them creative for a lot of his comedy shorts and stuff. I thought that was brilliant, and that alone, I mean, I support all of the stuff that he does anyway. But that made me like, oh my gosh, it's a video that's going to last forever. And I know it's just going to be goofy. It's going to be off the cuff. They're just going to be goofing off or whatever. But they're going to say my name. It's going to be to me like, that's really cool. And so for Aladdin, that was something like, man, I don't know if I can, like, that's going to be a tall order, like getting everyone together and kind of doing it. So I'm going to do it where it's a little bit more pricey, but
more personal.
It's more personal, and it's a cool thing that hopefully people are like, and like right now Aladdin isn't out yet, and I have no delusions Aladdin's not going to be the next Star Wars or anything like that, but it's good, you know, hopefully it's going to be at the very least like have this cult following, and maybe it'll grow into something. But either way, down the road, it's going to be really cool for people that do have the thank you videos. They're going to be able to say, there's actually a video out there that you can watch anytime on YouTube. Excuse me, that it's, you know, Aladdin and the princess and a bunch of cast and crew and the director, and they're all saying thank you to me, and they're singing and telling jokes and they're goofing off and the whole bit. But like, it's this thing that exists forever. You know, it's kind of a cool thing to be a part of. There are things where I've seen a lot of films where they'll do special t-shirts, but it's got to be something cool to where even if your short film doesn't go down in history and maybe a lot of people don't know what it is there a shirt that you can make that even if people don't know what the film is, well, people want to wear this t-shirt because when they go to a bar, people will be like, that shirt's funny. What is that? And then they say, I got to tell you, it's this short film, you know, whatever. You know, there could be something where if there's a film that takes place in a bar or a lounge like this, maybe you even make them before you make the film. Well, maybe that's part of the Kickstarter, but maybe you make special bottle openers that are really funny and unique. Maybe that's part of the film, is everyone's got their thing, and they always, like, everyone says something funny before they open a thing, and it's part of the movie. Where that's really weird. Everyone goes to the bar and they bring their own thing. What if this item is actually one of the items in the Kickstarter? Like, that would be a cool thing. Like, oh my God, I have one of the bottle openers that they all use in the movie. And like, there might be people that become fans of the movie. What if they all support the Kickstarter? They all get these cool bottle openers. What if they, on Saturday nights, they hang out, play cards, and in honor of your short film, they all pull out, like, it's so ridiculous, but they all pull out their bottle opener and they drink from their own special bottle opener thing.
I have a question for you, Matt.
Yeah.
So, and I know this, I know that you've been, prior to the Kickstarter, you were struggling with, you know, coming up with ideas. And how did you sort of figure out, you know what, I wanted to do Fiji? Because I know we were going back and forth and you were sort of fumbling with ideas. You know, what sort of like triggered you or sort of made like, you know, I want to do this? You know, was there something, or you just...
Gosh, well, I knew, you know, I think part of it is there's so many characters in Aladdin, and I had to kind of narrow it down, especially to the first film. What are the characters that people are going to be interested in? But also, what are the characters that people are going to be interested in before they've even seen the movie? So there are some characters, excuse me, for example, that people are going to love, but they're just like kind of regular. On the surface, they're just people. So if you see them in the trailer, it's like, oh, that's a person. They look interesting, I guess. But out of context, you don't really know anything about that character. So it's hard for me to like make t-shirts of people, like if you don't really know who they are. And that's one of the reasons why, for example, the Djinn of Wisdom isn't really heavy, even though the film is called the Djinn of Wisdom. he's not really heavy in the marketing of this, because a lot of people are just expecting Robin Williams. They're expecting the crazy genie or whatever. This is a very different character, and there's nothing I can do in a trailer. The character is awesome. Everyone's, in fact, on Friday when we had the screening, Mike already knew, but Dave and Matt, who saw the film for the first time, they knew nothing about who the Djinn of Wisdom was going to be or anything like that. And that was one of the first things they said was, wow, the Djinn of Wisdom was so cool. That was amazing. But there's no way, there wouldn't have been a way for me to convey that in a trailer where people would have watched it and said, man, I thought Robin Williams was cool. Now that is a genie. That was amazing. Like, it's something that needs to be, like, you have to discover it through the film. But something like Fiji is something where right off the bat, people see this cute robot and they say, oh, that's adorable. I want that. Or they might see something like Lochan Shyamalan, and right from the get-go, they see this face or this mask, and they're like, oh, that looks wicked. So if I have a t-shirt that has Lochan Shyamalan, and maybe I write the name, it almost looks like a metal band, like, there already would be people that would think that's cool. Even if they haven't seen the movie, that looks wicked. Like, dude, I want that shirt, you know? So that was kind of my thing with Fiji, was that I knew even without seeing the film, people would probably really like Fiji. And so I wanted to make, if I had to make, I knew I wouldn't have enough money to make toys of every single character. So I kind of had to pick one. I was like, you know what, Aladdin's sidekick, this is going to be something that everyone's going to want, even if they've only seen the trailer.
Well, I want one. I mean, it's like I said, it's kind of heavy, but like in a good way. Like, it feels like it's solid. It's quality, solid. Yeah, it's quality. It feels good. It does feel good.
So anyway, so it's coming up with things like that. What can you do? And then it's hard because if you're getting someone a t-shirt, you can maybe have that in the Kickstarter, and maybe the t-shirt is $30, because a lot of people aren't going to pay $40 for a shirt. If it's $30, you're still not making a lot, because it may be 10. If you're getting good quality shirts, it may be 10 or $15 to get that shirt made, and then you've just made $15 that you can put into your movie. The other great thing about a Kickstarter, though, this is probably the best part about it, is that you're doing all this work, you're getting all these products out, and you're only making a little bit on top of that to hopefully be enough to help, make your film. The best part about it is you instantly have a fan base. You have people who supported the Kickstarter. So that was one of the biggest reasons why a Kickstarter was so important to me as well, was to kickstart the whole thing, and to have, when this film comes out, there's already, it may not be huge, and it's not like, thousands and thousands and thousands of people, although there's a lot of people that have seen the trailer on YouTube. It's 2.1 million people have seen it. So it's growing, it's getting really cool. But the Kickstarter was great because we already have some fans that are in it to win it, that are really, really excited about it. Had I not done the Kickstarter, had I not had this big promotional campaign, I mean, yeah, there would have been people that would have discovered it and found out about it, but this was just a really cool way to make a splash, so that when the film does come out, there's already this pre-made fan base for it. So that's the biggest thing I would say in putting your Kickstarter together. And I think usually when you sign up on Kickstarter and start going through it, the first thing they have you start building is the rewards, and figuring out your rewards. What are you giving people? Are they going to get a digital copy that they can download? Are they going to get a Blu-ray that you're going to get printed and that you're going to ship to them? You got to think about shipping. How much is it going to be? Like when they go to Australia, like that costs money. So figuring all that stuff out.
So good point. How did you figure your price points? What sort of process was that? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, well, there's a number of ways to do it. And There are different, you can buy scales. I don't have one of these, but I know people that swear by them. They have scales that you can hook them up through Wi-Fi, and they'll do the current whatever rate for US postage. So if you're sending stuff here domestic, or if you're sending stuff out of the country, overseas, prices are pretty similar. There are some countries that are more expensive, and it's shocking which ones are more expensive and which ones aren't. Believe it or not, Canada is one of the most expensive places to ship to, which is so funny, especially
right
for
there.
us in Detroit. We're like just a hop across the river. Literally, we can go downtown, we can see Canada right there. You know, it's so funny. But
would you recommend someone for their first Kickstarter do international or just stay domestic?
I would do international. I would take money anywhere that you can get it. But when you're doing the shipping, you've got to charge for it. You've got to make sure that you're getting in the extra money. And you never know what when I did my Hollywood is Dead book, I would say half my sales came from around the world and half came from the States. For Aladdin 3477, I thought it was going to be more international just because it's Aladdin and it's, you know, kind of worldly and stuff. It's actually the opposite. It was actually mostly in the States. Part of that, though, I think is because, excuse me, shipping has gotten so expensive that I think that was kind of a turnoff. I think the Kickstarter would have been much bigger if I didn't have shipping as expensive as it was. Here's another thing that you can do, something that I didn't do that I might do in the future, although it's kind of shady, so I'm not sure how I feel about it.
All right.
And that is when you're using BackerKit, one of the things you can do, BackerKit is another resource that you can use, but there's also like CrowdOx, and they do a lot of the fulfillment for you. So they help you organize, and Kickstarter does this, but it's not as organized with like photos and stuff. So you can use a company like BackerKit or CrowdOx so that once people have backed, they can select what shirt they want, they can select what size and all that. Some people use those places to do shipping instead of Kickstarter. There's two good things about it. One, Kickstarter takes 10% of everything, including the shipping. So now you've got to add even more because Kickstarter is going to be taking that money out. BackerKit only takes 3%. So had I waited and done shipping through BackerKit, I actually would have made more money for myself that way. Here's the thing that's kind of brilliant, but then it's also kind of shady. It's a little bit, depending on how you look at it. It's actually really smart to do your Kickstarter and don't do shipping through Kickstarter. Tell people, just so you know, this is the price for the rewards. There is going to be a shipping fee later through BackerKit. Just so you know, there's going to be another fee you're going to have to pay for shipping. And most people are like, yeah, shipping, whatever, that's cool. But then when they get to BackerKit, they're like, what? How much is ship? That's how much shipping is? But at that point, you've already paid for the Kickstarter rewards. What are you going to do? Not pay for shipping to get your items? And there might be some people that are like, no, I refuse. That's way too much for shipping. Forget it. But most people are going to be like, fine, take my money. You know what I mean? And so that's where I feel like, I don't know. I just like people liking me. I don't want people to be.
I think it's understood that, you know, nowadays everyone's buying online anyway.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, shit, okay. You know, as long as they don't return it, I guess. You know. But.
Yeah. So anyway, but that's one thing that you can do, and then it's another way through the BackerKit. People can get more items. Maybe when they supported the Kickstarter, maybe they didn't get a shirt, but then later when it's over, maybe they see a shirt, or maybe you put another item on the BackerKit and they're like, gosh, you know what? I am going to get a shirt now. So
these aren't on the BackerKit, are they?
Yes.
They are?
Yep.
They can get them where?
They can get them on the BackerKit.
Yeah.
BackerKit. So yeah, and so if you go, I forget the official name of the BackerKit, but if you go to the Aladdin 3477 Kickstarter, there is a link right there. I've been leaving links on my Facebook and everything as well. Justin says, I think I still have a copy of the script for an extra $10 or $20 would be good to add on to the backer kit for Aladdin. I know I'd get it for sure. Yeah, you know what? There are spoilers even in the first Aladdin movie, and I know a lot of people are probably like, well, I've seen Aladdin, I know this story, it's not spoiling anything. This Aladdin is kind of off the rails. The main story is kind of like Aladdin, but this is Aladdin but expanded like Lord of the Rings. There are so many characters and storylines and different things going on in this world that I think you're going to be in for a treat. And the first film is the one that's the most like Aladdin. But Mike, I would even say, even that film, would you say there's enough new stuff in the first Aladdin film that there's stuff that would get spoiled for sure, right?
Yeah, there's a lot going in the first film, you know, and then without spoiling anything, you know, I mean, really, it just goes on and on. It definitely wants you to look for more, definitely. So for sure.
And then the second two films definitely. I mean, you could watch these movies and you could almost, I mean, they could have been named something else for sure. It's Aladdin, but it's different enough. It could have been named something else. But anyway, so do you have ideas for rewards for things that you could offer for this film, or is
that's what I'm here for?
Well, what can you share with us about this project?
Okay, well, the film that I am looking to make a Kickstarter for is called Rope. It's an idea that I've developed some time ago. It has gone through numerous revisions, but I think I finally hit a final draft that is pretty powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And the premise is a woman finds herself trapped in a vast cave system, armed with nothing but a few flares and her tenacity to survive. Upon looking for an escape, she finds a rope leading to her salvation. However, she also discovers that there is something that is within the caves with her. So she turns towards her only form of escape, which is the rope, and that is where the real fight begins. Again, this will be my third film. And I mean, that's why we're here. I'm trying to figure out what kind of rewards people will be interested in.
Can you tell me about, because
for.
I think I know, but I don't want to spoil anything. Can you tell me just a little bit about what you said she confronts something, or there's something in the cave with her?
Yes. So the idea, the drama, that I wanted to pull without spoiling anything, I wanted the bulk of the film to show the struggle of being in one place doing one thing, which is just climbing. And I wanted to illustrate that no matter how hard things can be, you could just continue to push yourself forward, even if it's to the detriment of the things around you. So with the creature, I wanted to kind of obscure it. I didn't want to show too much.
That's the word I was wanting. You said creature.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That's
So
a hint.
short film, this is like what, 90 minutes, 60 mintes?
I'm looking between 6 to 10 minutes.
Yeah,
6 to 10.
average,
Yeah. But that does entirely depend on the storyboards, which I'll time.
How much money now for Kickstarter? The way Kickstarter runs, you have to set a goal.
Yes.
For an amount of money you're trying to raise.
Yes.
If you hit that goal, you get all that money, and then how much ever more. If you don't hit that goal,
you don't get it at all.
You don't get nothing.
Yep.
So do you have a goal in mind?
Yeah, so I went over the budget with Eric Steele, and we went through all the cast and crew and set design, and we set a high budget and we set a low budget. And the high budget was about $10,000. Yeah.
Average.
Oh, that's average. Okay. I felt like that was a lot. Once it started racking up, I was like, oh boy, okay. Low end is 5,000. And I figured for a short film, for my first Kickstarter, I would probably just aim on the side of caution and go for 5. But obviously,
and that way, because you might get more, but it would be a shame if you set it for 10 and then you got 6.
Yeah.
You'd be like, man, we could have made it for 6. You know what I mean?
But I'd be okay if it was set for 5 and I got 6.
Right. And you might get 10.
Well,
you might get 20. I mean, you never know.
Yeah.
What it just depends on how well the Kickstarter goes. Yep. Brandon Sanderson last year,
you love that guy,
for his Kickstarter, he got 41.3
Whoa.
41.3 million.
Million.
Whoa, what?
Million.
41.3 million.
I was expecting
Million.
1,000
for his
somewhere in there.
Kickstarter. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What was the
That
project?
was just a book, wasn't it?
Was it a book?
It's 4 books, but there's like swag boxes and stuff that came with
Wow.
it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a video that I can see? Let's see what I can
I'll
emulate.
write it down
That's,
for you.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
Not here.
Brandon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look up Brandon Sanderson.
Yeah, I mean, if Robert Rodriguez can make a film for like 5,000-7,000.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
And that's the beauty of it too. I mean, when you're working with such a tiny budget, you got to get really creative.
All right. So the first thing off the top of my head, I'm just throwing stuff out there, and maybe some of these would work, or maybe they wouldn't. But maybe they'd stick into something. Mike, you might have ideas too. But a rope. Is there a rope that people could get for a gift? Is it in a way where when people got this, they would be like, "This is cool."
I mean, I suppose the rope that is being used on set.
Ooh, the rope. Now
rope.
that could be a one-off thing. Only one person wins it. Or when you're done filming, you could take the final rope and it could be cut into 20 pieces. So 20 of the top people will have an actual piece of the rope. I mean,
maybe have people sign it. Additional or something,
yeah, true.
The marker,
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Too bad you couldn't do with, I mean, I don't know how your budget's going to be as far as figures, but like get like little, maybe find a figurine and it has a rope on it or something. I don't, or
yeah.
Anthony LaFata, how you doing? Anthony says a rope that is shaped in the form of the studio logo.
Oh,
that's cool. Because a rope by itself, like who would want to hang that on a wall? What are you going to display that in a case? It's just like a piece of crusty rope. But that would be something that would be cool, or something that people would want. Fruit Loop says you could make a paracord. You could make paracord bracelets out of rope.
Oh my
now
God.
that is a great idea because it's something people
thick?
can wear.
Is it too thick?
No,
Is this,
they're thinner, and it doesn't have to be the actual rope that was in the movie. Just made out of. And I think you can get those. Maybe you would know, Fruit Loop. You might be able to get those and have them custom made. So maybe it actually, in one part of it, actually says the name of the movie there, or something like that.
Or even a necklace, I mean, for
like
all you
a
women
hemp
out there,
necklace or something.
earrings,
Yeah, that's a great idea. But it's got to be something. So like, is there a way, and I don't know how, but is there okay, so this obviously has the woman and the rope and climbing. Is there anything that you could make or mass produce that people would want when they see like your video that you're making? Because most successful Kickstarters usually have a video like, "Hey, I'm Chiqui Marrero. And I've got my this is my project I want to do. Here's the rewards. It's going to be great." Da, 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 da. If you don't do a video, then like a lot of people just won't even look at the rest of the page. But is there anything with something, I don't know, where there's like a rope and there's someone climbing it? Like, I don't know what it would attach to or whatever, but is there some kind of thing that people could get that's like, that people would be like, this means, like, this is inspirational to me, or this is you know what I mean?
Yeah, I thought of
Or what about, because I like your idea. Tell me more. You said she's facing her fears but climbing.
It's all about tenacity.
Okay,
tenacity.
All right.
It's about perseverance and to pull through even in the most dire situations. And I like the premise of this film that I've developed, because she literally is hanging by a rope. She has nothing to rely on but her grip and her will to live. And the whole film is her trekking up this rope to get to the end where she will escape. But it's all about the journey on getting to the top.
All right, so bear with me with this idea here.
Nice. You're seeing the master at work right now.
Oh, we said it exactly. So while he's doing that, what else can you tell us about? So I mean, do you have any ideas when you want to try to get it going, and you have production, script, that sort of thing?
Yes, I am looking to. I'm currently in pre-production. The storyboards are just about done, which is usually the moment where I'm ready to pull the trigger on a project once it's like in here and
So
on
you have a
paper.
script?
Oh, the script is
done.
good. Is good. The only changes I would make are minor adjustments, but the final draft is basically that's it. Storyboards are almost done, and I'm looking to film this before the summer.
Oh, soon then.
Yeah,
Wow.
soon, very
Okay.
soon. Yeah.
Well, you got to do you're going to do the Kickstarter first, though, right?
Yes, I'm going to do the Kickstarter
Okay.
first. I do have some funds to use for this film, but again, the Kickstarter would be to be a nice cushion or a nice little oomph to the production.
So I hate to spoil that. Are you, regardless of the Kickstarter, do you plan on somehow completing it anyway, and then the Kickstarter sort of back-ended it?
Yes,
or?
yes.
Okay.
Regardless, I want to just as my previous two films. I want to go forward with these projects. It's been too long. I've been out of the game for a while now when it comes to directing, and it's just something that I've been wanting to do for literally years. This particular script.
Are we talking like mass distribution or YouTube or?
It'll be local on YouTube.
Okay.
It'll just be on the internet. But I'm looking to premiere it on Horror from Roulette.
Nice.
That's where it all started anyway. And I wanna release my third film. Well, technically it wouldn't be my third, it'll be my fifth in Horror from Roulette. But my third exclusively directed film in Horror from Roulette. And I figured it'll be a great way to come back in the game and show that I still have it.
Yeah.
At least I think I do. I don't know. We'll see.
Let's see what we got here
far. So have you ever seen, I'm sure you've seen, like in office buildings or doctor offices or lawyer offices, they always have like those framed, it'll be a photo of like someone rock climbing or someone, and then there'll be a giant word underneath. It's like success. And then there's a smaller thing like the ability to be your best at any given You see those everywhere, right?
Yep.
What if there was a thing, because you said it was tenacity, right? So what if the style of it looks like it's going to be one of those things, and it actually is tenacity. You said something to the effect of perseverance to rise above or whatever. But then what if the photo is a shot from the film? But what if instead of it being like just lovely and like climbing, what if it's like just frantic and like being chased by a creature and just like but it would be hilarious, like, because a lot of people might be like, oh my god, I want this for my cubicle or for my whatever, like people that have like a really good sense of humor, having something like that.
I have a perfect shot for it, and I already have it in my head. I was thinking like either making it a sticker or something. I was thinking like that cat poster that's like, hang in there.
Yeah, that's another good one. That's great. That's a good idea. Is there anything with the creature where like maybe the creature is just like a cool t-shirt where it's just like I don't know, and ever black tees sell the most. But if you've got something like I have no idea what the creature looks like, but maybe the creature is like emerging from the shadows or something like that. And it's just something, people like obscure, especially if it's something like a creature or a robot or something like that. People like obscure things. They like having something because it makes people go up to them and say, what is that? What's that shirt? If someone wears, and this is an area where it's not where I have an edge on Star Wars, because I don't have an edge on Star Wars, but if you go to a comic convention or whatever, if there's 20 people wearing R2-D2 shirts, no one really goes up to every single one of those people. R2-D2, I love R2-D2. Yeah, no crap, everyone loves R2-D2. Who doesn't love R2-D2, right? But if someone has a shirt that has Fidgy on it, and if people don't know what it is, and they see this robot, I can't tell you how many people have Fidgy shirts already that have gotten them at conventions, and they say they wear them all the time because everyone wants to know what is that? What is that robot? They say, I get more compliments on this shirt than any other. I've got all these Star Wars shirts and everything else, but people love things that are kind of underground and obscure. So a lot of people like wearing bands, like shirts that bands that people have never heard of, you know, because it's kind of like, I don't know, like not everyone wants to wear like a Blink 182. Of course, Blink 182, like who doesn't love Blink 182? But you know, Mike doesn't like Blink 182, but it's one advantage that we have being underground is people like underground. People like, but it's got to be something unique and something that's cool where even if you don't know what it is, people would see it and be like, that's cool. So are there things, is there something where, or what about this? What about a shirt that looks, oh man, this is a nightie now because it's so long. But what if it's a shirt and there's nothing else printed on it, but there's this long rope, and then you can see here she is climbing, getting her way to the top. And then maybe at the bottom, because you're stylish, it says rope.
Or you could, you know, have this on the t-shirt or something, you know, or
Yep. Stickers. I was trying to think of the cave. If there's anything you can do for that, that might be tough without making like a little maquette.
But the overall idea is to get people sort of included and feel like they're part of something, and not just arbitrary. Like, I'm just gonna throw a pin in there because people like pins, you know, or something. So something, You know, any comments? No.
Oh yes, there is. Oh yeah, sorry. I'm. What about a 3-inch or larger figure of the creature?
Yeah.
Or a little like model, like a plastic, like a little statue or something like that. Different sizes for different prices. What about a cable? Alexis says, what about a cable protector? A woman climbing?
Oh, so like
what's a
those
cable
chargers.
protector?
First off, hi Lex.
What's up?
It's the little like design things you could put on cables to protect your cable from what's the word, like fringing, like splitting apart, and you put it in the end you put it on your phone, like in the end. That would be interesting.
Okay, I like it. Is there like a tool or anything she uses? Like maybe a carabiner or a, I must be pronouncing that wrong. A carabiner? Carabiner?
Yeah.
Or a pocket knife she uses that you can replicate with the studio logo on it. I like that. That's kind of cool. Speaking of Comic-Con, I need a Fiji shirt to wear it next month. You got it, man. I will hook you up, Anthony. Well, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Travis Barker for marrying a Kardashian. He married a Kardashian? Where have I been? I had no idea. Gosh. I'll tell you what, this is tough because it's literally a woman, a rope, a cave, and a creature.
She's climbing a mountain, is that right? Or
no, she's in a cave system, and it's completely dark, and there's no way of escaping except the rope that's ascending.
Yeah.
Does she have a light or something?
She's only armed with a flare.
Flare.
Flares.
Ooh, is there a
Those are only light source.
Now we're getting into fireworks now. Or you actually, and I don't know if you can mail flares or not as a reward.
Be a dummy flare.
Gosh.
Can you use for like a minute?
Yeah.
You want to talk about Aladdin?
Yes, actually, I want to chat about, about Mandolorian. So last week's episode was episode 5, and What did you guys think of Mandalorian? Let me know in the comments. For me, it was good. It was definitely my least favorite of the season so far, episode 5 of Mando. It's not that I didn't like it. I did. But compared to how good some of the previous episodes were, this one I didn't like as much. And this one, it's starting to go now more in the direction that I thought the season was going to at first, with the the Night Owl sisters and stuff. And I'm just not as invested in that part of the story. Then again, I didn't think I was going to be invested in Boca Raton. I didn't think I was going to be into her character as much. I wasn't into her character before, even from Clone Wars. I wasn't into her character, and in season 2 of Mando, I just wasn't into. I love Katie Sackhoff, but I just wasn't into the character. This season flipped around. I love where they went with that character, and they made some really, really good choices. So I don't know. Maybe now I'll think the Night Sisters are cool. I thought it was really neat when she had her helmet on and she wasn't taking it off. I thought that was a really cool thing that they were going to do story-wise. And I don't want to get into spoilers, but kind of what they did in this episode, I get why they did it, but it's just taking it in a direction that now it's exactly what I thought this season was going to be about. Or maybe it won't be, but it just seems like it kind of will be now. So it's a little bit of a letdown for me. It was still a good episode. I'm still in it, but it was my least favorite episode of the season. Anthony says, another great episode. I don't think there's been a weak episode yet. Yeah, it was good. But I think the first 4 episodes I really, really enjoyed. And so this one, it just didn't hit the mark for me as much. Do you watch Mandalorian?
Oh, I watched season 1. I'm on season 2, but it's been a while.
Gotcha. We're just chatting about the new season right now. Bo-Katan. I keep calling her Boca Raton. I will say I'd like to see Bo-Katan get a little antagonistic again, like she was in Clone Wars. Seems like they're trying a little hard to redeem her, and I liked where it was going with that. But like now that she's going to be playing kind of in the middle to like bring everyone together, I'm just like, that's just like exactly what I thought this season was going to be before this season began. And but maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe it'll I am obviously interested to see where it goes. So we'll see. I'm interested. Faux show. All right. So that was that we had some good Kickstarter secrets. Does that help? Does that help give you some ideas?
Oh,
some
absolutely.
things on what you can do? And
Yeah.
I'm excited to see where you go. Let me know, obviously when you run the Kickstarter, I'll support it for sure. I can't wait to see what the rewards will be. I don't know. I need a print like this.
Yeah,
that's such a great
that, like a little poster.
Yeah.
Or motivational poster.
Yeah. And maybe you can do more than one. If you can do maybe you can do 4 of them that are all kind of similar, but maybe there's tenacity, perseverance, maybe take 4 things, and then each one is a different just crazy shot from the film. And then, because some people might want to just choose, you get to choose which one, but then maybe there's higher tiers where you get all 4, and some people like to collect. So some people would be like, man, I'll take all 4. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And it would be funny in a room if you had an office room, like if you're a lawyer and you have a sense of humor, what if you have like a meeting room, and what if you took all 4 and people meet? How funny would it be when they come into this meeting room and they're looking at like all the words are like really profound and like, tenacity, go get him, tiger. But you look at the photos and you're just like, oh my God. Could be interesting. Anthony Lafada says, ultimately it's going to come down to her challenging Din for the dark saber. Yeah. We'll see what happens with that. That's another thing that's interesting. It doesn't even seem like Din really cares about it. So I don't know if I should be invested in that challenge. And it seems like he would just give it to her anyway, but technically he can't. So interesting where they're going to go with that. Faux show. All right. So again, we had our first screening, our first executive producer screening in the mini home theater. It went awesome. It was so much fun. So for the rest of you Kickstarter backers, for those of you that are executive producers, I'm scheduling those now. There are about 4 of you that I've reached out to, like, hey, I want to schedule this. Let me know what up. And I haven't heard from you yet. So let me know. Check. I've been contacting you. Some of you have contacted, well, most of you have contacted through the Kickstarter because that's how you got through to this. A couple of you, I have your email, or I also contacted you on Facebook, like if I didn't hear from you after a couple days. So I want to schedule this. I've got some open dates that I can shoot to you. So get back with me. It's a lot of fun. As soon as I get through all of the executive producers, that's when I get through the rest of you that did the add-on, which is the exact same thing for the red carpet experience. Can't wait for you guys to see that.
If not, I'll be willing to watch it again. If they don't want to see it,
yeah,
I'll watch it. No wiggy. Yeah,
it'll be great. So that red carpet experience, you can get that right now in the pre-sale store through Backer Kit. If you want to get that experience for you in a +1, you get to come out, you get a tour of my digs. And CHIQUI, you got the tour of the digs today. What'd you think? Was that cool? Is that worth it for people to come out with their +1 and candy bar drinks and checking out the studio and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you can do a little pan around, but you got Boba Fett right over here.
Oh yeah, Boba Fett's just hanging out over there
in the corner.
Yeah, it's a fun place to take selfies.
Don't check out the sauna. If you turn on the light, you'll get a jump scare of Darth Maul.
It's crazy over there. Don't do it.
So funny. But anyway, so that's happened now. There's still a couple of those left if you are interested. So that is the live stream lounge coming up this week. Again, like I said, there's a new video series on doing portraits, on how to illustrate portraits that are the larger than life movie poster style. And next week is Easter. So I think I'm just going to be doing it on my own. I'm just going to have a quick live stream lounge, just hanging out, checking in with you guys. I may have some new assignments. You guys have homework that I'm putting you through. I might have a couple new things to share, a couple announcements. And then the next scheduled guest is Dave Santia, world-renowned speed painter. That's going to be on April 30th. Can't wait for that. But every night, Sunday nights at 9 p.m. EST. Thanks for hanging out with us, y'all. Oh, we got some more comments. Hold on. Anthony says, not true. Sabine gave it to Bo in Rebels. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. But again, that's something where I try to watch these Mandalorians, even though I've seen all of Clone Wars, I've seen Rebels, and I love both. I especially loved Rebels. But like, see, I even forgot that. And most people watching Mandalorian have not, they don't know the history of the Darksaber. So like in watching Mando and kind of erasing some of that stuff out of my mind, I'm just kind of like, why should I care? Why should I care about how they fight for the Darksaber? So I know Uber fans are like really into it. But I believe to fulfill the prophecy, she's going to have to challenge him. Yeah, for sure. I'm not doing anything for Easter. Let me know. I think I'm just going to do a quick one because I am doing something for Easter, but I'll simmer on that, Anthony. Maybe I will have you out for Easter, actually.
For dinner.
Yeah, maybe I will. Maybe we will.
Maybe the main course.
All right, Anthony, you talked me into it. Next week I'll have you out, but it might just be me and you, and I might put the camera on a tripod.
Damn, out of a job.
Unless you want to come out, Mike. I just don't want to. It's
Thanks,
Easter.
Anthony. You put me out of a job, man.
I don't want to. I don't want to make people work on Easter.
Double time.
Anyway. Bye. See you, Fruit Loop. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out. Thank you, CHIQUI, for hanging out with us.
Real quick, or
Yeah, it's gonna happen. So
Check the
anything
Kickstarter.
and everything that you donate to the Kickstarter will be deeply appreciated. I'll
Oops.
think on those rewards. I think I have stuff in mind that I've learned today that I think people are really gonna appreciate.
Coming
So-
soon, right?
But yes, I'm making a comeback. It's happening. I'm directing another film. So if you liked Guess What and you liked Psych, I'm very certain that you're gonna like this one.
When that Kickstarter happens, be sure to let me know, and also I'll mention it in the comments so people that watch this episode will put a little link up so for
Okay.
people to click on and to check it out. All right, Mike, say goodbye. It's nice hanging out with you once again.
Goodbye, Mike.
All right, and with that, that is another live stream lounge. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. I will see you guys next week. Ah!